Joined now by someone who knows the Moncton Wildcats very well, Stephane Paquette, frequent friend of the broadcast who covers the Wildcats for L'Acadie Nouvelle newspaper in Moncton. Stephane, you look at this Moncton team right now, tied for fourth in the Eastern Conference heading into tonight's game. Is this about where you thought they would be? How do you think the season's unfolding for the Cats?
Yeah, absolutely. They have a pretty strong team. They even got probably better at the trading deadline, adding Connor Trenholm up front and Oscar Plandowski on the back end. Those guys bring an interesting physical presence, physical element to the team that probably was missing. They got a lot of talent up front, but they're kind of small, so a guy like Trenholm will be a big addition. Nobody expected everyone to sell the farm and rebuild and all that. Everybody thought that the Wildcats did a good leap forward since last year, and they're getting better again this year. So next season should be really interesting. I think this year they're going to be tough to beat in the playoffs. They might give the Mooseheads a good run for their money, I think.
Of course, playoffs, still a little bit of ways yet. A big part of the success for Moncton as of late is the play of Maxim Barbashev, draft pick of the Rangers. He's on a nice tear, maybe playing the best hockey we've seen from him as a Wildcat. What do you make of his recent play?
Yeah, absolutely. The key for him is consistency. That's been his problem in the past few seasons. In some games, he's the best player on the ice. Some other games, he seems to be taking some shifts and even periods off. But when he's consistent, when he wants to play, he's a dominant force out there. And we've seen that a lot this season. If he keeps on playing like that, not only will he be a force in the playoffs for the Wildcats, I think he might logically be a professional player down the line. He's got the talent. He's got the tools for sure.
Well, I think the Rangers are hoping for that. What do you make of the direction the Cats took during the trading period? Because you mentioned bringing in Plandowski and Trenholm, but they part ways with Thomas Darcy and Francesco Iasenza. Sort of like Cape Breton, bringing in veterans but parting ways with veterans. Was this just finding the pieces that fit as opposed to buying and selling?
Yes, exactly. It's kind of retooling, let's put it this way. I think Trenholm is key. They really liked him when he was playing in St. John. He's a tough player. He's a skilled player. He's your typical power forward, and that was missing. They got a lot of skills up front. Thomas Auger, Vincent Labelle, Loshing, but they're all kind of small players. So in the playoffs, we know it's different hockey, so they needed to get bigger. I don't think anybody expected them to part ways with good young players. I'm sure teams were asking about Etienne Morin, about Jacob Steinman and a few others, but I don't think the Wildcats were ready to part ways with those guys because I think they want to go pretty far in the playoffs this year. They want to make some noise, and they want to have a really competitive team next season.
Moncton is led by their captain, Alexis Daniel, who's from the Moncton area. How cool is that for the team to have a local captain, and how do you think he's done in the role?
Alexis Daniel has surprised a lot of people since day one, really. He showed up at the first training camp 2 years ago, and nobody knew him. Well, of course, we knew he played for the Flyers in midget AAA, but very few people expected that he would have a big impact on the Wildcats. That's exactly what he did on and off the ice. I mean, on the ice, you can put him in every situation and he's going to perform. He played on the power play. He's killing penalties. He's a physical force. And off the ice, he's a leader. He's a real captain. He's always been a leader. For the Wildcats, it's been a really pleasant surprise. And for the kid, how cool is it playing in front of your own crowd, being the captain of a really good hockey team? I talked to him a few times and the kid is on cloud nine right now. He's really living the dream. That's exactly how he feels.
Very good. We talked earlier with Josh Heptich about Etienne Morin. The other guy who's attracting attention from scouts is another guy who's a former Flyer. That is Preston Lonsbury. I'm sure you probably got the chance to watch him before he came to the Cats. So what do you make of his progression then and now as a hockey player?
The skills were always there in his case. It was just a matter of adjusting from midget hockey to major junior. Everything is quicker. The players are bigger. Everything is faster. So he needed a few months to adjust. Now he has, and he's becoming quite an offensive threat for the Wildcats. And we've seen him playing on the first line, playing on the power play now. I think he's going to be a really, really good player down the road. He keeps improving. That's the key for him. He's getting better and better as time goes on, and the sky is the limit. He's a great skater. He's got great hands. He's got a good heart. He's a fighter. He's a hard worker. So he's got all the tools. And for him, it's all a matter of putting everything together. And he's doing it now. He's going to be a really good find for any NHL team who might want to draft him.
Daniel Lacroix came back to the Cats in the 2019-2020 season, has been there ever since. Just how much has his presence stabilized this team? Do you think he's the guy going forward?
Yeah, he's a quiet force. He's not the guy who's going to scream at you in the dressing room or break sticks or all that. The players trust his leadership. He's got a quiet leadership. They know he's been to the pros. He knows how to win. He's been a coach for a long time now, so they trust him. He's a very respected coach around the dressing room. I think he likes it. Personally, I think he likes it. We weren't sure when he came back if it was for just a little while, waiting for another job, or I think he really enjoys junior hockey. He loves to teach kids. That's the key. He's a good teacher. We've seen the results. He's been a great teacher for a lot of good young players. You talked about Etienne Morin. He's been flourishing under Daniel Lacroix, so I think that Daniel Lacroix is the guy forward.
Last player I wanted to ask about is Charles Baudouin. A lot of people may not notice him, but in his fifth year major junior, he's producing over a point a game and obviously won the President's Cup last year. How important has he been to Moncton?
After the season, he's been pretty much the best player on the team with Loching, period. He's a feisty player. He's a skilled player. He's a veteran. The key with him, he shows up every single night. You know exactly what you're going to get with Charles Baudouin. He's going to give it his best every night. And frankly, on the ice, most of the nights, he was the best player on the ice. He's got a good physical presence in front of the net. He can score goals. He's hitting people. I think the kids on the team really look up to him. He's been, frankly, a really good example for them this season.
Well, key player going forward for the rest of the year. Great insight on everything going on with the Wildcats, Stephane. Thanks for telling us all about it. Have fun covering the team the rest of the season.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
That is Stephane Paquette. He covers the Moncton Wildcats for l'Acadie Nouvelle newspaper in Moncton. You're listening to the intermission of Cape Breton Credit Union Eagles Hockey, 1270 CJCB.